Hi everyone, welcome to our live Q&A on Ready to Become a Coach. I'm one of your hosts, Laurel Elders, the founder and CEO at the Institute for Integrative Intelligence. I've been a coach for 20 years as of last year. I am an internal, external coach, as well as I've been leadership coach, executive coach, and I'm now an ICF accredited educator, trainer, and assessor, and have been so since 2012. And I have with me Lauren Stidham. Lauren is our Dean of Students here at the Institute, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren. I am a certified coach. I've been a certified life and leadership coach for about 6.5 years now. And I work with individuals to help them be the architect of a life that they love, building personal blueprints for success in life goals as well as business goals. I came on with the Institute in 2020 and have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed supporting individuals all over the globe in earning their coaching certification. I'm also a graduate of the program and super excited to be here with you today.
We decided to hold these because we wanted to answer questions. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and we just wanted to clear up any confusion about what is credentialing versus certification, or what are the different levels? What do those mean? There's a lot of questions floating around, so we wanted to create this space to make sure that you can get your questions answered about coaching. What is coaching? What is not coaching? But also, we wanted to introduce ourselves because we've got some fabulous programs, and our graduates speak for themselves when we get new testimonies. So we want to also introduce ourselves and what we do and the role that we play in the coaching world. And yeah, let's kick off. So Lauren, you had some questions that we are ready to explore.
Yeah, so one of the first questions that we received is why do I need a credential or certification as a coach?
So, some things to consider when it comes to certification and credentialing. Certification means that you have met the standards and someone has certified that you have met those standards. Versus if you just have a certificate of hours, that doesn't mean that you are certified. That is a certificate saying that you did attend those hours. And then the credential is what happens after you're certified. So if you go through an ICF accredited training, that counts towards coach training hours. Then you go through the certification process, gaining your certification, which leads to the ICF credential. ICF credential comes after training, after certification, and after you've had a chance to get some coaching experience under your belt. Then you can go on and apply for that additional credential. And why that matters is because people are looking for coaches that are doing actual coaching. The title coach is widely used, but not always, it doesn't always represent what people are actually doing. So, for example, I think the latest one I saw was a photography coach. That person actually wasn't coaching, they were taking photography and they were helping people get good shots, but telling them what to do. So that's what we see, and it does help separate you from coaches who are either untrained or uncertified or not credentialed. So that's something to consider. It also shows that you care. We do have people that say, I was taught coaching in the past, but I really do care to get the full education. So having a certification and credential means that you care about standards, you care about ethics, you care about really doing a really good job at coaching. So that's another thing to consider as well.
Hmm. Yeah, that actually leads to one of the other questions we had, which is what is sort of the difference between consulting and coaching?
That's one of my favorite ones. So, consulting is when an expert is giving advice in a specialized process or a specialized area. So, for example, technical consulting, organizational consulting, where the consultant is hired as the expert to provide answers. Coaching is a lot different. So a coach comes in and helps someone self-develop into the areas that they need to develop. It elevates the person to grow. It elevates emotional intelligence, communication skills, any sort of internal skills that we need to develop to be our best in whatever we're doing. It can be in parenting, it can be in relationships. Um, some people do relationship coaching. It can be in leadership. We can really get coached in so many ways. Well, really just boils down to that distinction between advice and a self-discovered Socratic process. So the coach is skilled in asking questions that lead to self-actualization. And the questions are really, sometimes people, if they're not used to coaching, might think that's it. And it's actually, well, there's a whole process behind it. There's all different types of questions. There's knowing when to ask a question and when to not ask that question. It's also the coach being attuned to different levels of development and self-actualization, and we're being able to reflect that back to the client. So there's a lot that goes into the self-actualization process. And it just so happens that coaching is a more effective way to do self-actualization. And I say that because if you think about it like this, we have a higher self within us, like us at our best. And then we can also disintegrate under stress. Well, if I show up to a session and someone's going to show me how to do something or say this is how you want to grow your skill, I might get this far. But if somebody is asking me questions, I'm doing the work, I'm digging deeper, I actually end up going this far. So there's two journeys that a person can take when they're self-actualizing. The first journey, they can be shown the way, and that's important. Therapists, consultants, advisors, mentors, teachers, all of that is so important. But there's a part of the journey that has to come from within. And that's where coaching steps in. And no other profession that I know of actually takes somebody on that second journey like coaching does. And also, when we're self referenced, we can take ourselves on that second journey of self discovery, but we might only get this far, whereas a coach can take us this far. So, in essence, that's the power of coaching.
Mm. Yeah, and I have to agree in my experience with coaching and also working with my clients, when we have a peer coaching and the client is the expert and determining their own path, there's a lot more buy-in. I
Yeah.
mean, anyone can Google, ask ChatGPT, watch an Instagram reel of someone telling you what to do and how to live your life. But that's not as empowering. Coaching really has this layer of empowerment to it where the client feels like they are creating, and it just activates a whole different part of the brain.
Yes. Yeah. The ownership piece. Yep. You're spot on. That.
So, another question we have
Mhm.
is around our program, actually. Someone would like to know why is our training the best? Like, why is it different than others?
So I would say a couple things to consider. The biggest thing to consider first, let's start there, is that all coach, ICF accredited coach training programs start with core competencies. So some programs only teach those coaching skills. Other programs like ours are deeper dives. So it depends on what kind of coach you want to be. If you want to be what we call transformational coach, you want to consider a deeper dive program. Now, what sets our deeper dive apart from other deeper dives? We have strategically and intentionally taken all of the domains of human potential. So, somatics, emotional, relational, motivational, all of them. And we've brought them together. Some other deeper dives might just focus on mindset, the cognitive, or the somatic, which all of those are great. I'm not going to ever put those down. It's just we found power in bringing all of it together because when you are coaching someone, you have a whole person in front of you that is not necessarily going to share your learning style. They're not necessarily going to share, um, you know, maybe some somatic stuck points. So being well-rounded in all eight domains of the of human potential is so key. And we call this integrative intelligence. And that's what sets our deeper dive program apart from the other coaching programs that are out there.
This reminds me of a conversation I had with a naturopathic doctor last week. We were talking about our businesses, and she was sharing how she feels with medicine that's really looking at the whole picture and that there's multiple different ways to address something instead of a very linear focus. And I had to laugh because I said, that's a lot like the kind of coach training I had with the integrative approach, just not focusing on just one area, but recognizing, oh, there could be something over here, and this could be impacting something that's happening over here. And like we look at the whole person and we coach with tools and resources around that. And that's one of the things I think has been so beneficial for me is I feel like I have this fully resource toolkit that I can use with my clients no matter what they're facing.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah. And I even think like the Native Americans had it right. Everything is connected. And the issues come up when we start operating as if it's not connected. And so an integrative coach is going to have that perspective of what is this connected to and why and how to take the person's perspective to a whole different level.
Yeah. And so, for that reason, we have students coming from all different backgrounds,
Mhm.
wanting to coach on all different things. And our program can really support that because essentially we're coaching the person and how they're showing up, which is really key when it comes to change, is that deeper dive into who they are, because that's what's going to motivate that change,
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
just telling them to run 20 laps and do 20 push ups.
Yes. Yeah, and in all eight domains. So we're helping our clients, or if we're leading someone, we're helping them elevate each of the domains of their potential, not just one or two.
Mhm. Yeah, when the ocean rises, all the boats rise.
I love that. My MCC mentor coach, that was one of her favorite things, and that always resonated with me. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's true too, right? We take care of our health and that can dramatically improve our emotional
Mhm.
intelligence and we, start working less and have more balance and that improves our relationships.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Wait, one more thing. The other thing that sets us apart is we have concentrations. That is unique to who we are. Basically, what you could do is take the integrative intelligence training in coaching skills and you can apply it to a specialization of your choice. So that could be leadership, executive, spiritual, could be Christian, it could be parenting. It's whatever is calling you. So I always thought that that is one of the things that really stood out with our program too. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, so this individual says, I have never had a business before. I'm thinking about opening my coaching practice. How does your school support with that?
We used to have business development ingrained in the program, and then we found not everybody needs it. So we separated them out a little bit. So in the core program, you're going to learn how to contract, and that's important regardless. That's important if you're, adding coaching skills to something you're already doing. If you're a leader, if you're a therapist, if you're a consultant, it's still good to know how to contract, how to establish a coaching program. So that's all taught within the core curriculum. But we noticed that some people needed different levels of business development support. So we have graduates that have come in that have already run a business. So they didn't need the same level that somebody that's completely new to business, running a business, and starting from scratch. There's a learning curve. So, what we've done over time is very intentionally pieced out different levels of support so that you can really sign up for whatever makes sense for you and you're not signing up for something that doesn't make sense for you. Sometimes our core program is enough, and then other times we have an e-course that walks you through a step-by-step process for what we call business launch. And then we also have business consultants. Yes, they will definitely be coaching, but they're also going to know what to do and what not to do. So the business consulting, we give you access to that as well if you're needing personalized support to implement any of the e-course. So we have lots of different phases and ways to support you in business growth, which is really, it's the coaching skills, in my opinion. Lauren, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this because you've got a lot more of a background in this, but um, I feel like the coaching skills apply to business growth, but there's also some business education that's really paramount, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to business building and growth, if you have a degree or experience in another area, you might have excitement and passion for entrepreneurship, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have some of the skills to support that. So, my background actually, I have a degree in elementary and special education, and then I transitioned into sales. I had to do so much self education. That was part of how I was able to be successful as an entrepreneur. And so, I feel like it's really awesome that we have both in the school, that we teach you sort of how to be a coach and show up in a situation purely as a coach. But then there's that second piece of, well, now I want to use this skill. I want to have clients. I want to grow. And we don't always have that knowledge. We have the passion and heart. And so I think it's extremely beneficial to take the time to learn that skill set and develop that and grow that piece, because that can be learned. How to market yourself as a coach can be learned. Different skill sets that you can do for follow up with clients. That's one of the big ones that I really had to learn as an entrepreneur. Like, what does follow up look like? And yeah, I think that our program offers some insight into that in the program, but then a lot of additional resources if you're feeling like, whew, I don't know these things. I'd like to know them, and I'd like them to be specific to coaching.
Yep, absolutely. And it is that's I'm glad you brought that up at the end because marketing coaching is a little different than marketing like I'm a massage therapist. People can wake up in the morning and say, I need to go see the doctor. I need a massage therapist or whatever physical therapy. People don't necessarily wake up and say, I need to hire a coach over this. They may not think that way. So marketing, learning how to market as a coach is it's simple once you learn it, but it's important to learn the distinctions and then also what's an effective way to connect with people when they may not understand coaching fully. So we teach you how to get on the other side of all of those things. The other two things that I would say are two ways that our program is different from other business growth programs is price point and personalization. So in our price point, we keep it very accessible and reasonable. Of course, we need to compensate if you work one-on-one with one of our consultants, we compensate them for that time, of course. Um, and we make sure everything is running on the back end of our e-course. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. So our prices um, cover the program, but they're not crazy high at all. And we actually are against that. We've seen price gouging happen in the coaching world where people are saying, I will get you to the $100,000 million mark, and people are paying tons of money for these programs and just walking with very little because they're for whatever reason. So this is a phenomenon we're seeing. So words of wisdom, just be careful. We have graduates that come back and say, oh my gosh, I just got price gouged and I was so excited, but it went nowhere. So, and that leads to the second one is there are a lot of business development programs out there that aren't as personalized. So, for example, if you have this business program that's like take this step and this step and this step, but it's not personalizing the steps to you. That can be a big issue. So, for example, I am an introvert. Our one of our business consultants, Tabitha, who's also a co-teacher in the e-course, she's an extrovert. We have different roadmaps, right? For our business success. I stopped going to networking events because I was drained on top of coaching and being a mom, right? So that didn't work for me. So I came up with ways that supported my business growth. So that personalization, I've seen it be somewhat rare. I wish more companies would do it, but that is another thing that sets us apart.
Hmm. Yeah, I think, it's interesting. I've taken other programs before, and I don't even remember half of the teachers' names. They were just sort of there and then gone.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really love about our institute is how high touch the teachers are and available they are. So even on top of all the additional resources we offer at an affordable rate, we are available for conversations. If you're feeling stuck, if you have a problem, I talk with alumni all the time, guiding them through scenario situations. Students also go through our program with questions like, is it time for me to start my coaching practice yet? I don't know. And we are available for those conversations as well. And I love that about our program, just our high touch.
Me too. And one of our favorite jokes is at orientation, I'm like, surprise everybody, Lauren is your new best friend. So she's your program success buddy through this whole thing. So as the dean, I just want to give a shout out to you, Lauren. You do a phenomenal job at just being present, offering support. There's no such thing as a silly question at all. We always say, hey, if you have a question two or three times, we get it. Come on back. We're here to help. So yes, we are definitely high touch, which we intentionally built the program that way because it leads to more successful outcomes. So,
Mhm.
um, to that end, one more plug, and then we'll get to another question.
Sure.
A
Yeah.
plug for what differentiates us. We have maintained a 97% pass rate on the ICF exam, first time pass rate for the PCC level ICF exam. ICF Global, the average pass rate is 75%. And we really attribute that to how we phase learning very intentionally. I have attended programs that I felt like I love the people, they're great. They're just so positive and lovely, but I walked away confused because there wasn't the structure in place to get me to understand like what is actually going on. It felt good to be there, but at the end of the day, I didn't grow. And so we do both. We are heart-centered, warm, inviting, but we also are very structured. And if there's ever anything you're confused on, we can tell you exactly where to find an answer. So I found that that combination, the integrative approach, is the best.
Yeah. And thanks, Laurel, for the kind words. I appreciate it. It's my pleasure to support the students. And it's funny that you bring up the ICF credentialing exam because I literally had an alumni reach out to me end of last week, ask me questions about it. So, again, we really do love to support through that whole process. Okay, so we have someone wondering about when the next program is, kind of if they might have questions, what they would do, how would they take a next step?
So we have a couple things to consider is first visit the website integrativeintelligence.global and look for the program that you're interested in. Our next start date is April 24th. We have orientation on the 22nd. We do recommend submitting an application to start the process if you want to hold a spot potentially for yourself in that spring cohort. We also have a phenomenal admissions coach, Angela. Angela is here to answer any questions specifically, or if you want a walkthrough of each of the program options, because we've got the concentrations, we have leader as coach. So there's a couple different variables that may be meeting your needs better than others, right? And we have a personal policy. We never try to do business practices like upselling or, trying to market to you or sell you something you don't want or need. We're just here to serve. So if you want to go for level two, but we're like, well, actually, level one is going to serve you better. Well, we're one of the companies that will tell you that. We're going to be honest with you. And you can make up your own mind about what is best for you as well. We're just here to give you the options and let you know what matches best with which goals. That way you've got all the information that you need to make an informed decision about what's best for you.
Yeah. Oh, were you ready for one more question?
Yeah.
Okay. So Laurel, you are an MCC, which means you've been doing this for quite some time. What is your favorite thing about coaching?
Oh my gosh. My my favorite thing about coaching is the ripple effect. So when I love the saying, each transformation makes way for the next. So I remember the first time I was um I was coaching a client and I had their spouse come to me and say, "Thank you." And it dawned on me that the work that we do with our clients or with the people that we're leading, um, it ripples out. It ripples out. So that one person has a family, has friends, is connected to work in some way. So all the positive impact you're leaving in their life is rippling out, which ripples out. So that is indeed my favorite thing about coaching.
I love that.
And
It's
how
so
about you,
true.
Lauren? You've been coaching for a while now. What is your favorite thing about coaching?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because really, as I mentioned earlier, a big chunk of what we do is empowering someone. I think one of my favorite moments is watching a client overcome their own obstacle and actually have long-lasting change. Um, which means they need me less.
Mhm.
But it is so fun to watch. I love seeing individuals just overcome these things that they were so stuck in, so frustrated by, and able to figure out a way around it, through it, over it, and start making progress again on their goals, their life, whatever they're working on. And there are a lot of times where I walk away from a session and I'm just like, this is like where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's just so amazing to be a part of something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. That's outstanding.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am noticing we're at time, and I just want to apologize for anyone who we had a big technical glitch before we were able to hop on. So we got a little bit of a late start on our Zoom meeting. So I apologize if that impacted anyone, but we got the questions that we had ready to go. So if you have any additional questions and didn't get a chance to submit it, feel free. We'll include it in the next one. We're going to be doing these once a month, but we won't make you wait a month. We will definitely get your question answered, but we'll also take that question into the Q&A live because we know that if you have that question, so many other people have that question too. So, and again, no such thing as a silly question. They are all welcome. All right, that's it. Any final words, Lauren?
No, just thanks, everyone. It was a pleasure to spend time with you all today and answer your questions.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.